Welcome everybody to today's action. This is the Madden 20 Denver Broncos franchise, and today is the third offseason here in the series. Sorry, I actually thought I was live for about 45 seconds. YouTube has changed some things here with their live events, so I was practicing, I guess, a little preseason. What's going on, everybody? Good to be here with you on this Saturday. We have Denver Broncos franchise action. We have XFL football. I'm actually kind of disappointed I scheduled this to be during XFL, but I always stream my off seasons here in this time slot. But I'll catch up on the action. That was looking pretty entertaining overall, especially with Cardale Jones and that DC Defenders offense. But maybe we'll talk about XFL a little bit later on or throughout the stream. Today we have another offseason. We're coming off the most successful year in the series, and we still have a lot of work to do, especially with the offense. And today begins kind of the next step as far as preparing. A block punt. Oh, I'm missing everything. I thought about putting it up here muted, but I don't want to be distracted at all. I have it DVR'd. I'll catch it later. You can tell how sad I am about that. Defenders scored. Okay. But thank you all for being here on this Saturday. Much appreciated. Over 600 of you are here already. And I'm just letting things fill up before we get into today's action. Alright, just tweeting that out. Ugh. The DC Defenders looking pretty good so far. What's your favorite XFL team? I mean, I don't really know, because I kind of like the Dallas Renegades uniforms. DC's looking pretty good right now. I like Cardale Jones. I think I'll be more attached to players than an individual team. I'm not sure yet. Show your slider set? I can do that. For sliders... Hey, Babs, thank you for the super chat. Excited for baseball season? Absolutely. I'm very much looking forward to the Twins again this year. And I know a lot of you are wondering about MLB The Show. And I'm not exactly sure yet what my plans are going to be. But I know when that game comes out, I'll definitely want to play. I'll get it, but it's all a matter of how much I decide to do with it. Hey, Kane, I'm a fan from Brazil. Well, welcome. I try to do these streams so it's friendlier for those out of the States to catch the live streams. I know Brazil's not that far ahead, actually. But for those of you in Europe, I definitely try to do these streams so that you're not up at, like, midnight at the beginning of the stream. What happened to the San Diego Surf? Just too much going on, and other stuff took priority for me. I'm from Hungary. What's going on, Noel? I'm playing on all Madden. Yeah, I've wanted to make All-Pro work in the past, and it doesn't work for me. Believe it or not, I'll probably throw less interceptions on All-Pro, but I guess I haven't exactly proved that to you or anything, so one can't be too sure. What do I think about Dak Prescott contract? I think if I were Dallas, I'd try to work out something for like 2-3 years, but you know, Prescott's a quarterback and they have all the leverage. And while Prescott I don't think is a top 10 quarterback, he's definitely in that next tier. And I personally like Prescott quite a bit, but if they lose Amari Cooper, I wonder what kind of season Dak Prescott would have next season, because I think that he was obviously at his best when they had Amari and Gallup. And they were a good offense this year. They just couldn't get the victories to pile up. Yeah, I could see Todd Gurley definitely getting traded. The Rams got some challenges here to decide how they want their team to be constructed moving forward. And trading Gurley wouldn't surprise me too much. What do I think about the Timberwolves trade? Pretty excited to see D'Angelo Russell get traded there. I definitely want to watch the Wolves later on. I think they're after the next XFL game, so I got a lot of stuff to watch today. Big fan of the Josh Donaldson signing. Just hoping that, you know, he's already in his mid-30s. I'm hoping that his play doesn't drop off too much. Another super chat here. Skip disagrees. Dak over Mahomes. Oh, come on. Not even Skip Bayless would actually believe that. Mahomes is special. You might not realize it. It's hard to realize the true impact of things as they're happening. But I've seen a lot of football now. Mahomes is pretty special. There's no way he actually thinks Dak is better. All right, everybody, I think it's time to get into today's action now. We're about 5-6 minutes in. There's no way Skip said that. I'm not going to believe you. We have a lot of big decisions to make this year. We have some pending free agents, including Von Miller, Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, but also we have some players that might look at retiring. Could Trent Williams retire after this season? He's about to turn 35 years old. And I'm really hoping he doesn't. A lot of things could change this offseason if he does indeed retire. We also have to worry about regression. Chris Harris set to be a free agent. He's going to regress, along with Calais Campbell, Von Miller. There's a chance that Campbell also just retires. So I have some ideas for what I want to do, but I can't really go forward with them until we see how impactful these things that are out of my control end up being. So I've already done the recap, not going to go through that a whole lot. It was an 11-5 season. Yes, Leo, I will do a mock draft this year. I enjoy doing that, and most of you seem to enjoy it as well. We went 11-5 this year, played a lot of close games, and only scored 30 points once. One time, it was back in week 2. That was an alarming stat that I found going back through our season. We have to fix this offense going forward. We're not going to be this elite defensive team always as these players get older. So I think it's time to move on, everybody. It's a Patriots and Cardinals Super Bowl. Give me your picks down below. I'm going to take Arizona. Kyler Murray, the up-and-coming quarterback, defeats Phillip Rivers. Yup. 24-21, Cards. Will my mock draft include trades? Yes, Michael, I do trades now in my mocks. I think it makes it more fun. And obviously they're going to be trades, so it's my only chance of being right at all. Alright, I want to see this Super Bowl box score, everybody, and then we'll go to retirements, regression, and party. If we don't see Phillip Rivers here, it's because he retired. Oh, okay. Kyler Murray, 2 touchdowns. Rivers had 2 scores. Kareem Hunt, 154. Sony Michel, 69. N'Keal Harry, big day. Sammy Watkins. Jeff Hireman. I can't believe how good he's been since leaving our team. But the Arizona Cardinals win a close one. Wish I could see like a scoring log or something here to offer a bit more context. Just spilled a whole glass of Sprite. F's in the chat for Logan's Sprite. Kinda hope Trent Williams retires. That's not very nice. Please don't say that. Oh. But yeah, that is kind of the first question I have. Does Trent Williams retire? Let's go to Denver. Calais Campbell and Kyle Long have retired. So Long retires early, just like he did in real life. Wow. I think Long retired, well, obviously he didn't retire real life timeline versus this one. So Long played a couple extra years here. But that's a bit of a surprise. He was set to be a free agent. But not Trent Williams, who's already under contract. So I am extremely lucky with that. Extremely. That was the one thing I couldn't have happen. Here are other retirements, though, including Antonio Brown. So now we're not playing against him in Oakland. I didn't expect that to happen. Doug Martin, Ndamukong Suh, AJ Green. Should the XFL make a football game to compete with EA? Do I think it would force EA to actually make better games? It's hard to say if an XFL game would sell well enough. I mean, I don't think it'd be a direct competitor just because it's a football game. Obviously, for hardcore fans, it would be another alternative, but I think EA has a pretty good grasp on the wide market, and from the looks of things, Madden 20 has sold well, and the series is pretty successful at the moment. Leo, would you ever change the overall of a player if you think they deserve it? For example, Drew Lock. I really don't get into that. I think you can make a case with Lock just because he had such a good year, but I don't think I'll be making any change like that. Thoughts on David Montgomery? Solid back. I think he has a bright future in Chicago. Oh yeah, Gruden retired. He's going to take the rest of that contract. Actually, he probably wouldn't get the rest of it if he retired. I wanted to check out re-signings, though, just to see some of these deals. Oh, they're all during the year. Okay. I have to sim next stage. So, from there, we have to check out regression. Locke is not a 69, no. Boogie's going to tear it up in this franchise. I hope so, SportsFan98. It's all about where he's going to be doing it, though. Hey, Kane, how's your day going? Also, go Patriots. Going pretty well, especially with the XFL going on. It was pretty fun to watch. I was really interested, actually. Yeah, we've already checked out the dev increases a little bit because Super Bowl week, we were already in it. So I got to see it with the recap and everything. But Marion Peppers does have Superstar, something to keep in mind. Otherwise, I don't think there are any other surprises. We know Leighton now has Superstar. Otherwise, everything is pretty much straightforward. Eric McKinney also Superstar. What about changing their dev trait? There's already a system in place, Leo. I'm probably not going to get too involved with that. I have done some position edits and contract edits for some undrafted players. That's all I've done so far. I kind of like what I got going with that. And Drew, thank you for the super chat. Big fan since the Gophers series. Keep it up. And by the way, I played ball as the same school as your current quarterback in the Panthers series. That's pretty sweet. Thank you for the super chat, Drew. So Bryce Callahan loses 18 attribute points, Von Miller 20. And Miller set to be a free agent. Same with Callahan. Jawan James. Now, he has a $16 million cap hit this season. He would be a prime candidate to be released to save some money there. Chris Harris, though, 31 down. That's why I didn't sign these older players during the season. I didn't know how much regression they would have. But significant for Harris. 7 lost for Simmons. 3 for Parks. Christian Covington down 2. Trent Williams down 21, still under contract. Philip Lindsay loses 4. Terrell Basham, Rayshon Jenkins each lose a couple. Yeah, the regression system is not very good, and it needs to be totally revamped. I don't actually user the safeties. I hold L1 so the CPU controls them, so I'm not actually usering. There was one time, I think in like year 2, I actually like hit triangle out of like habit to user pick because it was a bang bang play, reacting quick. So that's the one time I've had like an impact on a pass. Oh yeah, Ryan, I heard about that. Yeah, they have a lot of interviews and stuff for the XFL, so you kind of get a different perspective compared to the NFL, where you get a little halftime interview and then the general media stuff. But in-game, that's a pretty cool deal they have going. And here are the free agents we have this year. I'm not going to do any deals yet until we edit Rosen's contract to be correct. Why do you always have to stream when I'm at work? I do it on purpose, obviously. Maybe you just work too hard, working too much. Bring back Vaughn. Let Harris walk. Thank you for the super chat. I definitely want to bring back Vaughn. Apparently the Twins pulled out of the Betts deal. Yeah, there's something with Gratterall and potentially injury concerns, along with the Red Sox maybe wanting another prospect, which I think would be a deal breaker. So I need to make sure that Rosen has a $22.8 million contract. I should probably just make it a one-year deal to simplify it. I edited, I think, Rosen's number or something, and it glitched his contract. So I'm just making it what it's supposed to be. That's all I'm doing here. So I'll go 1 year, and we'll go 22.8. And I'm also going to make sure... Oh, this is going to take forever. I'll just... It's supposed to be guaranteed. So it should all be signing bonus. But I'll just leave it at salary. The cap hit will remain the same. It's just you could cut him. I could edit this later on to be 22.8 for a signing bonus, but I'll be sitting here forever scrolling. Or maybe not. Whatever, I'll do it right. I must be so aggravating to watch sometimes. I gotta get this down to 0 now. Yep, Kyler won the Super Bowl. Hold L2 and R2. You are the MVP. Wow. Thank you. Those are the kinds of things I should know on my own. I was already doing left stick and D-pad. Alright, so how much cap space does that leave us with then for this offseason? Because I have to make a decision. Do we keep Rosen? Do we trade Rosen? And right now, my thoughts on quarterback are that I think I want Taquan Layton to start this coming season. I've thought about it quite a bit, but I think that with his superstar dev, he can definitely get better quicker by playing. And while his accuracies are lower than Rosen's, they can eventually get there. However, Rosen would be a great backup to have, but at a premium price. Therefore, if we trade Rosen, Layton might not be great right away, and there certainly wouldn't be a great backup either. We are also looking to either cut or trade Adam Kane today, after 2 years. He doesn't want to be here any longer. You know what? For realism's sake, nobody would want that contract. We are going to release Adam Kane. There we go. Now, I do want to add another quarterback this offseason at some point, but definitely not somebody that is going to be competing for a starting role. I simply want to get a strong arm quarterback to add to the team. I hope I didn't mess this contract up for Rosen. I might have to edit his contract to take him off that list quick. Just make it like a 2-year deal. The return of Joe Flacco. No, it's not going to be that. But I would like to add a strong arm quarterback to experiment with in the preseason is all. Yeah, Kane was a bust, and that was back when I didn't have the ability to see true talents for my scouting. So I just based it all off of his top 3 and not getting Heikkinen, and I lost big time on that decision. All right, everybody, let's get to re-signing now. I'm sorry it's taking a little while, but we start with Miles Starkey. I'd love to bring him into camp again. I think that with his short route running, speed, and catching, that I still want to develop him a little bit. I would like a 2-year deal. This may be something we work out on the open market because I'm wanting a cheap deal, obviously. So we got a deal done. How about that? Miles Starkey's coming back, everybody. We have Marcus Green. I was impressed by him during the season. I want him to return. Does Brady leave the Pats, and where, in your opinion? I don't think so. But if he did, I'd be interested in him going to somewhere like the Chargers or the Bears. That's where I think he would fit. Marcus Green has been signed. Okay. Von Miller, Chris Harris. Von Miller for $37 million. 2 years. So under 20 a year. Is it worth it? Would I ever do a franchise with C4 and Bengal? I'm a fan of those guys, and maybe if the chance the collab ever came up, but as far as like series and whatnot, like it's hard to schedule everything with everybody. I think that's the big problem. Ideally, like stuff like that would be super awesome, but it's really hard to manage. So it'd probably have to be pretty small in scale just to pull off. Just getting some of these easier signings out of the way. There are some players I definitely want to keep on the team, such as Markel Pittman. This might not work, though. He rejected something earlier. I'm actually writing down players here, too, so I do not forget to re-sign them later on. We're going to let Keon Crossan go. Terrell Basham, we're probably going to let him go at 28 years old. Andy Janovich. I do think we'll end up using a fullback more often. So I do want to bring him back. But we're going to have to work on that one later on. Being very cheap here, obviously. As a Charger fan, we don't want Brady? No? Because you're probably going to lose Rivers, so you're just content going with a rookie and trying to start something fresh. Tyquan Lewis will be let go. Bryce Callahan was pretty good last season. I do think that I'd like to bring him back. The fair offer is about as high as I'd be willing to go. Andy Dalton for backup quarterback. I could see him competing with Trubisky. I can also see Mariota going there to Chicago. Now, for Cortland Sutton, I don't think I like this 3-year deal. I just think that $8 million is too much for his production, and I do think that I'd like to bring him back maybe on a 1 or 2 year deal. But as far as this offer goes, I am not interested in that one. I thought after the start of the year we would make the deal, but not now. Adam Kane to be third stringer in the XFL. I'm not even sure if he'd be that. Let's go to Vaughn. I don't want to have to compete with other teams. We're going to take away some from salary just to put it into signing bonus instead. Von Miller wants to test free agency, and the franchise tag would be a premium $22 million. I think because we have the space, I don't want to risk another team signing him. Von Miller will get the franchise tag. That leaves Chris Harris here. I don't think I want to go $9 million. We do have some cap space, though, so I could consider it. Let's see if we can sign McManus back for about 4. There we go. That's 1. Deshaun Hamilton. I'm kind of interested in keeping him as solid depth. It'd only be about $4 million a season if this deal stands, which I think is fair. I'm trying to leave some cap space as well so we can potentially make something happen in free agency. I might go to the open market, though, and just see how this develops. Thoughts on Cam Newton and what's the biggest thing Madden 21 needs? Thank you for the super chat. For Madden 21, I think the biggest thing it needs is the biggest. You don't give me a chance to go top 3. So if I had to pick one thing, it would probably be the AI being developed more so. I just like to see the CPU play a smarter game, have better game management, and better roster construction and everything. As far as like the actual game goes, I love to see man coverage reworked. I'm tired of man coverage creating these huge, you know, like the separation you see from the best route runners in the league is too common. So, man coverage needs a rework for sure. Needs to be a bit tighter. And Chris Harris, 9 mil. I think we have to go to the open market. Trade for Centarius Phillips. We'll have to see what happens. I don't think I'm going to sign Harris here. I'm trying to leave enough cap space so if there is a premier guard out there that I can make something happen. How do I feel about the XFL possibly getting a game? I'd be very excited if they did. So a lot of players hitting the open market here as we move on to the next stage of the offseason. So here's what we're looking at right now. Guard is definitely a priority. That has to get stronger. Jawan James. If I need more cap space, I could release him. I could also look at trading Josh Rosen. Do we go to camp with Rosen and Leighton? That is basically the main question here. But we'll see what's available in free agency. What can I do with this cap space? We're going to have, right now, $38 million, and we could make a lot more space. So, something to look forward to. Let me save this quick. Where is Hudson Brooks? He should still be there. I didn't cut him or anything. I cut Adam Kane. Where is Hudson Brooks? You're right. Where'd it go? Hudson, you there? He's there. I don't know what happened. Must have messed up the depth chart. He was 4th. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see what we can make happen here in free agency. Rodney Hudson has become available again. Leighton Vander Esch, Jason Kelsey, Baker Mayfield could be on the move. Whoa, 240 mil. Damon Harrison, defensive tackle, is something I'd love to address. Harrison Smith. Michael Gallup. Ooh. Trade Rosen to make space to get Leighton more help. Offense isn't close enough to waste money on a backup. Yeah, I agree with that if there's a chance to make big signings. And judging by what we see here, I'm not sure the perfect opportunities are there, but I could take one of these linemen and move them to guard. Sign Baker. I don't think I'm signing Baker Mayfield. We got Taquan Leighton. I want to develop him. He's going to be on a much cheaper contract for a while. Rivers is available. Cousins is available. Could be a lot of quarterbacks on the move. Some pretty good wideouts available as well. So if I want some more contributors, they're out there. So why don't we take a look at offensive line then. Connor Williams, 25 years old. Now, he's not going to be as flashy as the other players, but he still has time to get better. But some of these ratings are a little low. And it would be for over 6 a year. At center, Rodney Hudson or Jason Kelsey could be added. I think Kelsey would be really interesting. No one has a bid yet. Lael Collins. So what if we start this by trying to give a 1-year offer to Jason Kelsey before any other teams get interested? 83 points. That could be strong enough to get it done. We can move Proctor to guard and be flexible there. At defensive tackle, I'm definitely interested in Damon Harrison. He's by far the most intriguing defensive lineman available. That would be a big boost to our run defense, too. Linval Joseph has regressed, but how good is his run defense still? 97 strength, 78 block shed. Okay. I'm also considering the possibility of moving this team to a 4-3 defense, especially if we don't have a true nose tackle, but we'll just have to see. All right, so a few players I had listed here I wanted to make sure I got offers to. There was Pittman at left end down into the 62 overall range. Really young. I also wanted to bring back Janovich. Fullback was important to me. There are some bids, though, for Janovich, so it's not going to be easy. Maybe it was a little too cheap earlier. Boley for fullback. He's not as good as Janovich. So at receiver, then, if we lose Sutton and Hamilton, we need some players there that can catch some passes for us. Sports fan, I mean you can run the 3-4 over or under. That has the nose tackle at the 1-tech spot, plus you are in either nickel or dime around 70 to 75% of the time anyway. Yeah, it's just all about what I want our base defense to be. And I think against some of those running teams that keep us in our base defense more often, I might want to go 4-3 depending on what personnel we have. There was a superstar fullback. John Anderson. 79 speed, 79 lead block. There are some pretty good ratings here. Not as good as Janovich. John Anderson. We'll see if we can make that work. So at receiver, Gallup has 2 bids. Cortland Sutton is probably going to Cincinnati or Minnesota. I don't think I want to go into the $7 to $8 million range, so I'd become interested immediately, maybe in someone like Anthony Miller. He has some solid route runnings here across the board. Reminds me a lot of like Curtis Samuel without the elite speed. So that would be one option. Antonio Callaway is available. Tajay Sharp, Taylor Gabriel. Sign Brian Body Calhoun one last try. We'll see what happens at corner. I would like to get a big-bodied receiver that can make those tough catches, though. That's something I've wanted for a long time with this team. And I'm just not sure who can fill that role for us. Valdez Scantling. Maybe. Hamilton has 2 bids, actually. So we could be moving on from both. He and Sutton. Oh, DJ Chark. I'm not really set on adding a deep threat while we have Deion Price and Curtis Samuel on the roster. What's going on, Blackjack? I'm just here to see you pull a Season 1 draft again. That's not happening. There's not going to be a situation quite like drafting Adam Kane at number 6. Jaleel Scott. He's a physical archetype. You don't see too many physical archetype receivers. Might be worth, you know, a 1-year deal in training camp. Jaleel Scott. That's only 45 points, though. Maybe getting a little too low. Any other physical players here toward the top? Marcel Aitman's a scheme fit. 86, but the route runnings are super low for him. Auden Tate. 6'5". Ooh. Do we like him more than Scott? I think so. Let's give an offer then to Tate, unless there's another physical player here. Noah Brown. Who do you think? Laquan Treadwell? I definitely want someone who could be more of a red zone threat. Yes, Chark is tall and fast, but I don't think he has the catch in traffic and medium route running I'd be kind of looking for here. I want someone that can kind of replace what Deshaun Hamilton was doing. So, Noah Brown or Auden Tate? Brown has 73 short, 71 medium, 87 catch in traffic. All right, let's give an offer here to Auden Tate. Hey, Blake, thank you for the super chat. You are great at what you do. Thanks for the amazing content. Just trying to give y'all a show. I think you sent it twice on accident. I appreciate that. Well, if you sent it on accident, then I wish it only happened once. Twins just pulled out of the Betts trade. Oh, man. So no Kenta Maeda after all. Trying to get the points up so it might actually work. All right. Now, I think we have to go back to Snacks. I think it'd be a lot of fun to add him, especially after we lose Calais Campbell. And if we wanted to stay 3-4, he'd be the ideal nose tackle. Get John Ross. I think we have a player that's going to be better than John Ross and Deion Price. You know what happens when I go deep too much with this team. You don't want a team full of deep threats. Otherwise, we're going to set some interception records. Another spot might be that backup edge rusher role, just because Von Miller's getting older and now on the franchise tag. Tyus Bowser is available. I'm interested in a one-year deal. Cheap. This might be too cheap to pull off, though. And then for corner, we're definitely going forward with Damian Charles and Eric McKinney, but do we bring in another veteran here to help out? Someone that can play some solid zone coverage. There's Justin Coleman here. We could try to re-sign Bryce Callahan, who I thought had a really nice year for us. 75 zone, he's very fast. Chris Harris, not quite the same player, losing a step definitely. If we brought him back, I think he'd be strictly like the nickel corner, which I haven't had him play that role in a while. So I'm kind of interested in that. If I have to make some extra cap room, I will. But we're going to give that offer to Harris. Yeah, J.C. Jackson just already has a bunch of bids. It's going to be too much. So I think that's all I want to do for this stage. That's a lot of offers we just made. So let's see if we get any new players. If we get Harris back, strictly slot corner. Pick up Rhodes. I don't think I want to do that, Parker. Thank you for the super chat, though. Contract accepted by Markel Pittman. Damon Harrison is coming to Denver. We also got Anderson at fullback. And we got rejected by Andy Janovich. Whoa. We gave him a solid offer, but Janovich is now gone, and we now have a superstar dev fullback. We also got Tyus Bowser. Here's a look at our roster. So we go William Hayes after year 1 to Calais Campbell to Snacks Harrison. We're just going to keep bringing in these veteran D tackles. That does not eliminate defensive tackle as a possibility early in the draft, by the way. One of the big decisions here has been, do we keep Rosen under contract going into training camp? His contract is a lot. And for me right now, I think I want to, because if anything were to happen to Leighton, I don't want our season to go down the tubes. And I want to give Leighton the chance to be the week 1 starter. But I think at least having both in the preseason is responsible. But I do want to see Leighton hopefully emerge as the starting quarterback. Trade Rosen and try to pick up Thielen or AJ Green. Green retired, and Thielen is with the Vikings. So cornerback is definitely a need right now for us. And I could try to trade or cut Jawan James. The issue there, though, is just we would still need another starting caliber player there. We didn't get... who'd I give the offer to? Jason Kelsey. I could try to release Jawan James and bring him back at a cheaper salary, though. He's only a 77 overall. That morale is making him a 78. So what if we cut Jawan James, but maybe bring him back? What would I get? We'd free up $13 million in cap space by doing that. We would have to eat 3. So we'd have to sign him for cheaper to make it worth it. Which might be necessary as a lot of these negotiations are still going on. Okay. What do you think? Cut Jawan James, bring him back? Assuming you're going to run more with Leighton, you need to keep Rosen considering the injury risk. That's part of it. Also, just like if the accuracy isn't good, if he's not playing well enough. Alright, why don't we cut Jawan James, create some cap space. Also, if Leighton balls out, there's a chance to trade Rosen during the season, Jimmy Garoppolo style. So, it's not now or never at all. Another way to create some cap space would be to make something happen here with Phillip Lindsay. But given his speed and how good he is when he's healthy, I'd rather not. We have released Jawan James. So now we have about 17 mil in cap space, so we can go and make a better offer for Jason Kelsey. We're going to have to go way up to make this work. $111, okay. The other spot at cornerback, Chris Harris. Do we feel like competing here with Buffalo? We have some cap space to play with. Justin Coleman now has no bids, though. 76 zone coverage. 77 man. Harris, 85-80. Coleman's also at regression. Same with Harris. Taron Johnson's only 26. More of a man-to-man corner, though. You got to have good zone corners the way Madden plays. Rasul Douglas, zone specialist. Someone mentioned Rhodes earlier. I don't think that's going to work for us. Who are we thinking here? Harris coverage is getting a boost from morale. That's a good point. And that's a +2 morale, so that's relevant. It's really a 78 zone coverage, 83 man. So he's certainly better than Justin Coleman. But we'd have to top Buffalo to make it work. Looks like the Bengals could be getting Baker Mayfield. Kirk Cousins could be going to the Steelers. Kerryon Johnson has a lot of interested teams, and there are a lot of good running backs available still. Really good route running for Jalen Samuels. He's one of the best receiving backs in the game. Four teams want Deshaun Hamilton. Anthony Miller has interest from 3. Stay away from the running backs. We can have a good time at running back. Cortland Sutton ends up going to the Bengals, by the way. He gets a 3-year deal. Rodney Hudson to the Cardinals. Leighton Vander Esch to New England. Harrison Smith to Cincinnati. They're spending a lot of money this offseason. By the way, this is completely irrelevant right now. Is the new schedule available? Because I'm just interested. Oh, it's still showing last year's games. Oh, man. I want to know if we play Miami. Try to trade Lindsey and get Rashad Penny. He could be your fast back and shouldn't get injured as much. Doesn't Penny have a lower injury rating, though? 92 is actually decent. Lindsey's a lot faster, though. There's a big difference between, like, 90 and 94, whatever Lindsey is. He's one of the faster backs in the game. That and he has a high break tackle rating at the same time. Like, he's a big play threat. He's very good. When he's on the field, of course. All right, Auden Tate. I think I'll increase this a little bit more. But the big question now is what to do at corner. I think while Chris Harris is the better player, I'm at least going to make an offer. If it doesn't work, I should be able to come back for not J.C. Jackson, Justin Coleman. Harris would strictly play the slot this year, though. Gonna have to go way up. Let's bring it down just a little bit from there. What have I missed so far? Are you done with MLB? The Twins franchise is over, and I haven't decided yet what's going to happen with MLB 20. Not quite sure yet. All right. I know it might be too much, but we have the cap space. That's what it comes down to. I'm not just going to make principled decisions like I'm not paying this player this much out of just principle. It's all about, I'm going to go to the length of the cap if I can. For players, even overpaying. Overpaying is only a problem when they're costing you other players. So now combine numbers are out. And I am very interested in potentially adding a receiver early. We now have a much thinner group with Curtis Samuel, Deion Price, and Miles Starkey. So why don't we take a look at some of these players. Rafa Augustine. He's going to go pretty early, though. Probably much earlier than our pick at 24. Jamie Sherman is a physical receiver. Good catch in traffic and catching. And he's a late round 1 talent. Dallas Levine, more of a slot receiver. Oh yeah, there is Jawan James. I have to look at maybe bringing him back. I forgot about that. Thank you. Levine, decent speed, not great. More of an agility-based slot receiver. Quicker than fast. Cliff McKeon, 4.53. Good catch in traffic and release, though. I like the top 3 a lot. Thought he'd be faster. Carl Joyce ran 4.4. Good deep route running. I don't think he's the right fit for our passing game to fill the gaps that we need filled. Emmanuel Silvers, though. Really good route running. His speed is nothing special. His athleticism is just okay. But he's an exceptional route runner. Darnell Livingston, I'm very interested in, though. 4.57, though, is a bit slow. Unfortunately. Blackjack edited this class, and he's not making it an easy one to make decisions on. Antoine Knightley could fit what I'm looking for, but he's not going to have much speed. Draft Sherman, he'll be that contested catch guy. We'll have to see if we get the chance. And is this an off-season where we can afford to trade up? Brandon Warren, by the way, 4.53. Scooby Blaylock, 4.68. Good bench. I wonder where these quarterbacks go. I did want to scout the strong arm quarterbacks. Just to see if there's one worth drafting late. I want to see A or A+ throw power for these late quarterbacks. I'll scout Tim Hardy in case he slides. More of a 4th round player. That's fine. Dustin Payment is here, by the way, in the undrafted range. I've scouted most of what I wanted to take care of. I think the last spots are just maybe the rest of these offensive linemen, getting to know what that's going to look like for the future. So, Jaquan Tate, very good. He wouldn't necessarily be a day 1 impact guy, but potentially. Plans for Rosen, and what did I miss in free agency? So right now the plan is to go into training camp with both Rosen and Leighton, but I'm fully intending on Leighton becoming the starter. I'd like Rosen to simply be somebody that can be counted upon in case Leighton isn't as good as we're hoping. But with Leighton's superstar dev and a year of experience now, I want to see him emerge from training camp as the best quarterback. That's the hope. So I don't have a whole lot of cap space right now, but I may be able to bring back Jawan James as I intended to. Thank you for reminding me, by the way, to offer a contract. I wanted to bring him back much cheaper. He had a $16 million cap number. We cut him and eat $3 million in dead money. So as long as we sign him for less than 13 mil, it was a good move. Let's go to the next round. And then I'll catch everybody up on the roster. Saturday's going pretty good, TC. Was watching some of the Call of Duty League and then watching some XFL action. All right. Oh, my goodness. Rejected by Kelsey. We get Jawan James and Harris back, but we can't bring in Jason Kelsey. I made a very good offer, too. And Noah Fant's 5th-year option I absolutely want to pick up. Yes. Yeah, centers just don't want to come here. That's why I had to draft Proctor. It was my only chance. Auden Tate still says he's waiting. So there's still a hole at guard. Here's a look at the situation right now with the roster. We lost Kyle Long because he retired. But he was a free agent regardless. If there's a chance, trade Rosen for a good quarterback. I don't see us trading Rosen right now. And not for a quarterback. Not when we have Leighton with superstar dev. So James can go back to playing guard. But now there's a hole there. Do we play Marvin Walsh or try to bring in somebody else? Walsh has decent pass blocking, but his run blocking would suffer. And I don't want to take a big hit in run blocking this year. But we'll have to see what we can do. At wide receiver, still trying to bring in Auden Tate. Receiver's definitely something I want to address in free agency. And on defense, we haven't really lost a lot. We brought back Miller on the franchise tag, Harris on a 1 year, and we brought in Snacks Harrison. Lee at guard. I don't think Bo Lee could play guard, could he? We also lost Andy Janovich, and we have a new superstar development fullback, John Anderson. So he'll get a chance to play, it appears, unless we find another fullback. Let's go back to free agency, see if there's anything else we can do. So Kelsey ended up going to Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield ends up going to the Bengals. I can't believe the Browns didn't re-sign him. So the Browns suddenly need a quarterback. You know what? If no one's going to make an offer for Callaway... Some of these ratings, though, I just don't like. Like the 80 catching, 81 catching traffic. The route running's pretty good. I thought about trading for him at one point, too. I would make a lot of people happy if I traded Lindsey. Penny plays faster than 90 speed. By the way, someone in chat really doesn't like Leighton's gear. Blackjack edited all the gear, so I like to keep it how he intended it. Valdez-Scantling has better ratings. I'll give a 1-year offer to Valdez-Scantling before Auden Tate. And we can have a competition here for receiver in training camp. That's not going to get it done, though. Better. For offensive linemen, Russell Okung, Ron Leary, Ryan Jensen, or Nico Saragusa, Rick Wagner. So they would be marginal upgrades at guard over Marvin Walsh. Leary was on the team earlier in the series. I think that pass block is way too low. Maybe we just go with Marvin Walsh then. Look at a guy like Zach Martin or Quentin Nelson. In a trade, you mean? I haven't really explored the trade market. I am interested in the trade block, though, so why don't we check it out? I don't want Nick Foles. Leonard Fournette's on the trade block. Keelan Cole, Hakeem Butler. I'd love to bring him here, but I don't think his ratings are actually that good. 88 catching traffic, though. Some of these are better than I expected. But I don't have a lot of picks. Some of these are pretty good. What would it take? Left tackle, right end, right outside, D tackle, and guard. Tremaine Atkins? Do they like him? Nope. Do they like Victor Allison? He has good development. Nope. I don't think we're going to make a good deal here. I know they're not going to take like a 7th round pick either. So probably not going to work. Trade Rosen back to Arizona though for him. That could work. Tap L1 to drop passing icons. Is it L1? I was experimenting in practice mode the other day. I want to get to practice mode today. I'll try that out. L1 to drop icons. I'll just try one trade offer, see if it works. Tremaine Atkins for Hakeem Butler. No. Maybe later on I'll try something. Wouldn't be a bad idea, though, to see if there are any players on this team I would like to trade specifically. But overall, I can't think of anybody that I really want to get rid of or anything. You could argue like Josie Jewell. I just like having good linebacker depth here. I only have like 3 solid off-ball linebackers, but maybe Christian Sam had a few good moments last year, and I'm a lot more interested in him now. So perhaps Josie Jewell would be someone I'd be willing to trade. I'll try Jewell for Hakeem Butler. If it doesn't work, I'll move on. I don't know if they're going to have much interest, though. Worth a shot. 75 for 75. It worked. All right, we brought in Hakeem Butler. That's about as even as a trade as you can get. And with Hakeem Butler, I don't think we need Auden Tate. So, we're going to pull that contract offer on him. I think Butler's a bit more talented. I know it's unrealistic, but a 3rd round pick for Zach Martin or Quentin Nelson would help the team a lot. Are those trades really that easy? I'm really excited to get Hakeem Butler, by the way. He is one of my favorite receivers that came out in last year's draft. We didn't really see him as a rookie. He was on IR for most of the year, but I'm very interested in his year 2. Good catch in traffic. I see him as the replacement for Deshaun Hamilton. We'll see how camp goes. And that trade was made possible again because I think Christian Sam can be that backup inside linebacker instead of Jewell. Thoughts on the Fins this year? And MLB 20 looks solid. I haven't actually seen anything on 20 yet. I'm interested, I just haven't seen yet. Thoughts on the Fins this year? I don't know. I want to know what they're doing in the draft first. I think that Brian Flores had them playing some good ball down the stretch, though. So I think I would be at least feeling good about that situation. Anytime a coaching staff can get a bad team to at least play to their like maximum ability, I think you have to at least give them some credit for that. Like what they had the same record as the Chargers or similar. I think you come away from the season having a lot better feeling about just the way the Dolphins played than the Chargers. Let's change the song up. Number 1, I'd have to say Joe Burrow. In our league, I have no clue what to expect. But I want to scout more of these players here toward the top of the draft. Keep in mind, these are mostly, well, I'm pretty sure Blackjack just looks at the ratings and he edits things that don't make sense and he puts his own spin on it. So it's not exactly an EA draft class. Some players I'm sure he didn't edit, but He's looking at a lot, and there's a lot of great detail here. I want to scout Thornton next time I can. Anybody on the board that needs points spent here? Sometimes I scout players and can't get that last rating done, so I just try to make sure of that. Look at Boogie's combine. That's a good call. 7.8. Oh, boy. But how early does he go? I'm not trading for Quentin Nelson. Boogie Turner. Special. 37 reps. His strength is going to be off the charts. But we're picking at 24, which is kind of tough for some of these top prospects. We may have to look more at someone like Tyrone Bradshaw, even in the first round, depending on how the board looks. But his strength is lower. I wouldn't expect his run stopping to be quite as good. 26 reps, 24th at D tackle. That's pretty low. He's more of a pass rusher. I could look at trading up. It's just I don't have any extra picks, so I'd have to really feel good about, you know, making something happen with 5 picks. Trade up for Rafa or Boogie. We have a trade offer for Josh Rosen, by the way, as we do sign Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So, does anyone blow us away here with a trade offer for Josh Rosen? Cameron Hayward and a 7? No. Those offers are bad. So here's how things look now. Again, James will play one of these guard spots, but might be looking at Marvin Walsh playing the other. At receiver now, we have some extra competition with Hakeem Butler and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And for the defense, again, just snacks. Haven't made many changes there. We could look at Rosen to get extra picks to do more in the first round. That is an option. But there goes, you know, kind of the safety at the position, the insurance. Trade Lindsey and a pick to get Boogie. I'm not going to do player trades in draft because the CPU values players way too much when you're in the draft. Looking at trade ups. Trade Lindsey and move up. You can find another running back. Maybe Gio. I'd like to see what the running backs are like in this class. We have a couple I like, but the speed element. Is Marcus Green enough? I like the combine here for Tevin Clark. Not bad. Bill Callahan, 7.1. What else shall we scout here, everybody? Check out remaining free agent quarterbacks. I should do that. Ronnie Stanton. Yeah, a lot of these players are either overrated or underrated by like a round. So it definitely is a lot different than EA classes where sometimes you'll have, you know, 6th round projected, 1st round talent. Not as much of that here. And I might want to scout a couple undrafted players so that if the 7th round comes around and I want to make a pick that I can. So someone like Levi Blaylock, perhaps. I think a late safety makes some sense to start developing someone. We have 2 29-year-old safeties now. Okay. It might be our last chance to really do much scouting then. Scout some punters to get a cheap 4-year deal. We have Colby Wadman, and he's already pretty cheap. Just logged on. What did I miss? All right, we're about to get to the draft, so I will update everybody on the roster here in just a moment. Was there a 7.1 running back? Or was it the power back? I'm really only interested in speed backs right now. So, entering the draft, we still have Josh Rosen on the roster. We could try to trade him. I do want to see Leighton hopefully become the starter this year. But, obviously, we don't know if Leighton's going to be great in that role yet, if his accuracy holds up well enough. And if he were to get hurt, then it would be up to Hudson Brooks. So that's kind of why I want to keep Rosen right now. He's definitely a great backup. I wouldn't have to worry about that. We've added a couple new receivers here. I traded for Hakeem Butler. We added Marquez Valdez-Scantling, so we're going to have some receiver competition, but it's still something we could address in the draft. We also tried to bring in Jason Kelsey and failed, so guard is potentially a need as Kyle Long retired. At defense, we brought in Snacks Harrison, and we kept Chris Harris and Von Miller. We traded Josie Jewell for Hakeem Butler, so not a whole lot of change here on this side of the football. And our kicker and punter situation are taken care of. Trade Lindsey. But what could I get? Colts have interest. Philly. Baltimore. I think I'd rather trade with Philly. They're out of conference. .93 speed, 91 acceleration. I did pass on Baker Mayfield, yes. Lindsey is already regressing and has been consistently hurt, and when he has played, hasn't been all that good. I disagree with how good he's been. I think when he's healthy, he's pretty good. It's just been all about availability with him. But I get the idea of trading him, though. I mean, we have Freeman, who's been reliable, and Marion Peppers, who has superstar dev. Neither is going to be this great speed back. We just have to be okay kind of taking that hit. And we might have to go sign somebody like Rashad Penny if we do trade Lindsey. Here are all the players who are available right now. Some I think could be signed when we sim to the next round or to preseason. And Penny's gone. So now it would be like Duke Johnson or Jerick McKinnon. Which I wouldn't be against either of them. I'd have to get a pretty early pick to be interested in trading Lindsey. There's also the option of trading Josh Rosen. The Browns have to get a quarterback now. There are plenty of teams that need a quarterback. A first-round pick might be worth it. If we can get a first-round pick. Who would we sign, though, as the backup? Is there somebody we could trust? Rivers, Dalton, Bortles. No one's signed Adam Kane yet. Trade Lindsey and solidify that offensive line. Oh, man. See if they have any guards straight up for Lindsey, an offensive lineman. This is really difficult. I released Adam Kane. Let's go back to Philly. How could they help us out? Kyle Dillon as a backup. Like, if that could work, maybe. Not as good as Rosen, though. Andre Dillard, Sayumalu, McGovern, Brandon Brooks. Brooks probably has 1 or 2 more years left in him here. I don't know. I don't like it. Oh, man. I guess I would need to at least see if a team would give us a great haul for Josh Rosen right now. There are a few teams that would be interested, it looks like. Preferably an NFC team. You could include Covington in the trade because Boogie would play the same position. True. True. The Vikings pick at 2. I doubt they would give us the number 2 pick, though, for Rosen. I don't think that'd be very realistic either. Any other NFC teams here? I hope the Saints don't replace Colbert. They shouldn't want one right now. They shouldn't want a quarterback. Same with Washington, with Haskins on the roster. Green Bay? 13? I think I'd be interested maybe with Green Bay. How's Rodgers doing these days? 74? Put Rosen's contract back to 1 year. I do need to fix that. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay. So, Green Bay would not give us number 13 for Rosen. Detroit? Where do they pick? 15. Well, if we want to make it work, we could give up a pick to do it. With Detroit. Any other teams? The Giants have interest. They have Teddy. I'm not trading players in draft. I don't like it. To replace Matt Ryan makes sense. The Falcons pick at 14. A first-round pick might be worth it. So the Packers have far more interest. I think if we threw in a pick with Green Bay, we could get that extra first. Just maybe. I'm not trading for Quentin Nelson. I'm not trying to cheese the game to get an elite guard. Lions have the most interest? Oh, yeah. It was them. This would give up all of our, our best backup option. But it would allow us to further develop this team. What is it going to take? Please don't say I have to go before. The trade has been made. Josh Rosen has been traded again to the Detroit Lions. We now have a second first-round pick. And we can work on building up this roster and this offense now around Taquan Layton. We're officially now looking for a backup quarterback. Sign Rivers and trade Rosen for a first or early second. Maybe signing Rivers is the move. He should be available. But now we are fully committed to Taquan Layton. I wasn't sure what we'd do here with Rosen, but I did say from the very beginning I wanted this to be Layton's team now. And now, that's our only choice. Taquan Layton, going forward, is our quarterback. Interesting offseason here. A tough one. I've done so many offseasons lately with the Bucks, with the undrafted quarterback series, but nothing ever ends up being as tough as the ones for this channel. And especially all the decisions I've had to make today. But with that being said, I'm not trading Phillip Lindsay. Let's begin the draft. All right, everybody. Welcome to the 2022 NFL Draft. We have 2 first-round picks with the Denver Broncos, and I have a lot of interest in wide receiver. I think that we've brought in some good competition, but obviously, I'm still looking to see what else we can do. I have high hopes for Curtis Samuel, Deion Price, Noah Fant. But another star-caliber receiver would be great for this team. We could use a guard. For defense, Snacks Harrison gives us a great player for this year, but what about beyond? Another defensive tackle is something we should consider. Also, corner. We'll have to see who falls because there are some great players atop this class. But with teams needing quarterback, who knows what happens? We could move up from 15. But if you've seen any of my recent series, you know how tough it is to trade up into the top 10. So don't count on me trading up to number 5. Or anything similar. Maybe to 10. Maybe to 9. Would I ever package up both ones for the right player? So let's begin. Now that you have a high pick, maybe package something to get Warren. Nope. Taquan Layton's our guy. He has a year of development. And I'm ready to make the move. All right, everybody. Number 1 in the 2022 NFL Draft. Who's it going to be? Number 1 player. Rafa Augustine is out to Washington to help out Dwayne Haskins. So the first pick is a wideout. We have a few quarterbacks that could go early. We have a great guard in Byron Bodden, who would certainly be somebody I'd consider. Jamie Sherman. What about a lineman? Jaquan Tate. What about trading up for Shea Holloway if he slides a little bit? Trade up with Lindsay if possible. I'm not trading Lindsay in draft. The game doesn't balance player trades during the draft very well. They value them too much. Like the Drew Lock trade. I don't like cheesing the CPU like that. Shea Holloway would be a lot of fun. All right, now, the Minnesota Vikings. They need a quarterback. Is this where the first signal caller goes off the board? There are a lot of teams here we could look at drafting a quarterback. I hope the Bears don't for the purpose of the series. The Browns definitely could be looking for a quarterback. Here are all the situations, though. The Falcons. Green Bay. Patriots, definitely. I hope the Saints don't replace Colbert. That would be a bad move. Steelers replacing Cousins, maybe? I don't know. But there are all the situations. And Minnesota. I can't see Minnesota not going quarterback here. The Vikings have selected Byron Bodden. They go guard. So right now, Sidney Jean-Charles is their starting quarterback. Defenders pick 6. Oh, man, I'm missing it. All right, next up, Oakland. They had Antonio Brown retire. They have to make a difference here with this pick. Austin Duncan, left tackle. Okay. We're also playing against the Chargers twice a year. Jamie Sherman. They add another receiver. Lamar Williams is never going to play. All right. To the Rams. Dallas Levine. Receivers are going early. That makes it very difficult for us to want to address this in the first round. I think that Sherman was the player that fit us best. We could still consider Cliff McKeon, but I don't think that I will rank him higher than some of the other players. Should I have traded up? It's too difficult to trade up at this stage. But Shea Holloway's out there. Boogie Turner is out there. Trading up for Holloway, I'd love to, but I'm going to show you how difficult it is. It's the Colts on the clock. Is this draft class 2020 or from Kalispell? It's a Kalispell class, handcrafted by Blackjack. It'll become available, I assume, after the stream. Here's how tough it is to trade up into the top 10. Do you package up 2 1s to move up here when we could sit and maybe make 2 high-quality picks? I'm not sure both ones would work. Trade for Centarius Phillips. I think he might actually have a pretty good chance to play now. That's not difficult? What, I give up, like, what, both 1s and a 2 to give up? I'm not doing that. Not for one player. I want to make multiple picks here. Although, Phillips, yeah, I do see. It would be interesting to trade for Centarius Phillips. He hasn't gotten much playing time out there. But I think the asking price would be pretty high. All right, we're simming this pick. Jayshawn Warfield is off the board, the first running back. And Shea Holloway is still out there. Next up, Philadelphia. Shea Holloway off the board. That's the one player that I think would have been really interesting to give up a ton for, but we don't make the move. Buffalo. Jaquan Tate, left tackle. The New Orleans Saints. I hope they don't go quarterback. That would be a disappointing move. Carl Grant. Okay, no one's gone quarterback yet, and now we're at number 10. Seattle. Anthony Nolan. And we close in on our selection. Still some really good players out there. I think the first round's looking solid for us right now. Tony McAdams is selected. The first quarterback goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they signed Kirk Cousins and now take Tony McAdams. Now where does Brandon Warren go? We'll have to see. We're getting closer to our pick. Justin Terry is off the board at defensive tackle to Jacksonville. You know who I'm interested in. I gotta see, though, these 2 picks ahead of us. What are they interested in? Green Bay and Atlanta. Defensive tackles not in their top. They both need quarterback, actually. This could be the Brandon Warren spot. The Green Bay Packers select Anthony Sarra, the first tight end out of Notre Dame. And next up, 1 pick ahead of us, the Atlanta Falcons select Jacoby Demps. And we are on the clock. Quarterbacks are falling. And the Denver Broncos are now on the clock with a lot of options. Boogie Turner at defensive tackle. Cliff McKeon at wide receiver. Boogie could be a special player. And there's absolutely no passing on Boogie Turner here. He is the selection, and he's #1 in true value. Boogie Turner, everybody, is a 78 overall. With 91 strength, 81 block shed, 79 power, and 80 finesse moves. We've found our cornerstone defensive player, perhaps, for when Von Miller retires. How about that? I'm still considering a 4-3 move, by the way. Just maybe. Welcome, Boogie Turner. All right, we pick again at 24. Boogie has to start now. I agree, Ryan. Tennessee. Raekwon McNeil. Super Bowl bound with Boogie. We'll see, Randall. Thank you for the super chat. Kyrie Constantine. A 70 overall corner goes to the Chiefs. All right, that might be one of the most surprising picks so far. Cincinnati. They picked up Baker Mayfield. What do they do now? Sean Brown. Have to give you money for that pick. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate the super chat. Much appreciated. Sean Brown off the board. And now Tampa at 19. Gary Riley. What does everybody think of that pick? Gary Riley. All right, Miami. Jesse Heikkinen has made this team a very different one from the beginning of the season, or the series. But they still haven't made the postseason. What do they do now in the first round? Anton Skinner at right end. A lot of defensive linemen are going off the board. Chicago now with Drew Lock. Is this potentially a quarterback spot here? DeQuinton Devereaux, defensive tackle. So the front 7 players are going. Carolina, Cliff McKeon will not join Justin Colbert in New Orleans. He goes to the Panthers instead. And now the Ravens. One pick ahead of us. Select Armand Nielsen. And now we're on the clock. I'm shocked that Brandon Warren is still there. I'm shocked that a lot of these players are still there. I do not think Carl Joyce fits what we need at receiver right now. Marty Belafonte would be an interesting player to add. Trey Williams. I don't see us going there, however. So we pick again, bottom of the second round. Kind of like Sean Brown. I do like Tyrone Bradshaw a lot. Donovan Jennings, 4.45. A+ break tackle. That would be a fun move. So it appears that the high-profile offensive linemen have been taken. For O-line now, here's what it looks like. Don't think reaching here in the first round is the right idea. I have some interest right now in the trade down. If we stay... Oh, anybody remember Mario Townsend? Donovan Jennings equals Lindsay replacement? Maybe. Mario Townsend. So, late 1 projected, early 2 talent. This would be an okay place if you wanted to add him. Just not sure how good the pass rushing would be. But I loved Mario, of course, in the Kalispell series. But is this the kind of team that can go with two defensive players in the first round when we have to fix this offense? Still got a couple corners here who are interesting. What do the trade downs look like here from 24? $38? No. Falling to 40 for a 4 and a 7? 16 spots. A lot of you are saying Messier. Not 100% on the pronunciation. I don't think I saw him. The safety, Brett Messier. A run stopper with great hitting ability. £237. Definitely heavier than most safeties. Blackjack has some interesting prospects here. You got to look through everybody. Man, this is tough. I knew Blackjack was going to make every decision here just as agonizing as possible. I'd love to move down here. So Quentin Washington's overrated by a round. He's 24. Man, this is tough. So many are saying Messier. We do have a couple aging safeties, so I understand the logic there. He's very strong, good against the run. Not sure about the coverage. Take Jennings, then trade Lindsey for late first. I'm not trading Lindsey during the draft if I trade him at all. Donovan Jennings again, A+ break tackle, 4.45. Perhaps the total package here at the position. Man. What about Chubby Decker? 251 pounds at 5'9" and one of the strongest backs in the draft. Blackjack, you've made this so difficult. You did it on purpose. The one time I want Kane to take a running back, he hesitates. The pick is Donovan Jennings. There it is. 70 overall, hidden dev. It is a bit of a reach. I do agree we could look at trading Phillip Lindsay. I'm not doing it mid-draft. I'll do it afterwards if I want to make a move there. Donovan Jennings is a 70, 91 speed, 90 break tackle. That is ridiculously high. Plus he has moves. Like I said, perhaps the total package, but not great receiving. The reason I didn't go, oh, the trade downs were for 2023. I forgot what the current year was. But yeah, the trade downs are not very good. The reason I didn't go with Messier is I just didn't see the value as much. I know he'd be an elite run defender, but I think Jennings could be a key player on the offense for years to come. 70 overall is lower than I expected, but 90 break tackle and 91 speed. I think when we get to the preseason, you're going to see perhaps a very special player here. So he's hidden dev as well. Peppers, Jennings, Freeman. That could be our running back group going into week 1 with Marcus Green, as Philip Lindsay could indeed be traded for future picks. So now we don't pick for a little while. And we'll just see where everything goes from here. Sean Brown, I was considering him. He's a 70. He goes to the Browns. Carl Joyce, does that say 74? Really? I didn't think Blackjack would rate him that high. Trade Lindsay into 2 for Messier late in the first. Thank you for the super chat, but again, I'm not trading players mid-draft because the game doesn't value it correctly. Jennings should be 21. Yeah, we'll see about a number. Carl Joyce, 74, though. I did not see that coming. Cooper Connor, 76. Ramon Givens. And the Super Bowl champions, Matthew Bradfield. All right. Jennings isn't too bad of a pick, to be honest. It's not going to make a lot of sense right now. It's one of those picks that could look good later on. Tracy Young Jr., top of the second round. I knew Kane couldn't resist the running back. Well, just seeing how complete his top 3 was, along with his athleticism. Yeah. Brandon Warren is going to Minnesota. Warren to the Vikings. There it is. Quarterbacks don't go in the second round very often. I will be looking to trade Philip Lindsay, by the way, for next year's picks. Brandon Warren to the Minnesota Vikings. By the way, I think we can check our schedule now. And we should play Minnesota this year. I believe the rotation would be NFC North, which means Rosen on the schedule, Warren on the schedule. What do we got? Rams to start. Jacksonville. We go back-to-back against KC. We have the NFC West? No, that's not right. Oh, it is. Yeah. Next year, we get the NFC North. All right. Seattle. Is Miami on the schedule? No, we close against the Chargers. So there's our schedule. It's a bit underwhelming, to be perfectly honest. Man. Back-to-back against KC. Rams week 1. Trade up for Messier. I don't think I'm trading up. The Raiders take Malik Baker, defensive tackle. And the Chargers take Mario Townsend. All right, we're going to see him. Thurman Buckner, we'll see him week 1. Keith Mays. Octavius Sears. Martell Ashley. Trey Williams is going to New Orleans. There's still a round 1 quarterback. I don't know his true value, but Scooby Blaylock is still available. I'm not trading up for Messier. If he's there at our pick, then maybe. Eric Brown. What's the board look like? Marty Belafonte. Brett Messier probably goes off the board. Nate McKenzie to Pittsburgh. Brett Messier is a 71. He goes to Jacksonville. We'll line up against him in week 1, it looks like. There he is. Marty Belafonte is going to Atlanta. All right, another Kalispell player is drafted. Tyrone Bradshaw to Tennessee. He had late 1 talent. He was never going to be 77 overall. Jacoby Bell. Scooby Blaylock is still out there. As Marquell. How do you pronounce that last name? Montag? We're on the clock, everybody. We could look for offensive linemen. Perhaps. I am thinking about wide receiver right now. If we were to go O-line, somebody like Mike Slater would be an option. But now that we're not in the first round, all these players are probably under 70 overall. You have to keep in mind. So Marvin Walsh is probably better than most of them, if not all. We haven't upgraded the offensive line in a big way this year. We missed in free agency on Jason Kelsey. Montague. There we go. Yeah, I knew that didn't sound right. Montague. I'm sorry. I'm really interested in Darnell Livingston. I'm also interested in Emmanuel Silvers. I have been for a while with his route running. I think Silvers is the one I'm most interested in right now. We have a physical player now in Hakeem Butler. And Silvers will need time. I think this would be too early for him. What about Xavier Watts? A safety, 6'4" with 4.4 speed. That could be a pick to help us prepare for the future. I kind of like that. One of the most intriguing players, I think, out there. Chris Baker is going to be good. Watts is a little bit better. Out of the draft, trade Phillip for O-line. I could try that. I could try. Xavier Watts. At corner, Samuel Mills. We could go with Watts, though. Roosevelt Peppers, by the way, has late 2 talent. Not quite as good talent-wise as Watts, who is mid 2. And then at corner, Mills is mid 2. So it's basically, do we do a corner or safety? Good zone coverage and decent press for Samuel Mills. A little bit shorter. 4.41 140. I think Xavier Watts is the more intriguing player. Watts is the pick. 69 overall, normal development. Here in the second round. Small donation for beating my Cubs in the World Series and for when you play my Dolphins in the playoffs. Love the content, bro, since 2012. Thank you, Randall, for the super chat. Much appreciated. So we don't get the 71 overall run-stopping safety. We get the 6'4", 93 speed safety. Let's go. He'll get some time to develop, and can't wait to see him in preseason. Very intriguing player. And I think his tackling was good enough to where he could play strong safety. What would the comparison there be? Jaron Curse? Like big, fast, can hit? I think the comp has to be Jaron Curse. Where does Scooby go? Reggie Foster goes next. Ronnie Stanton. In the third round, we should see Blaylock go very early. Mills was the same overall. Cole Kendrick. Scooby Blaylock is going to Washington. So maybe he doesn't have the starting future right now. He's behind Dwayne Haskins. He goes first pick of the third. Trade the third for Centarius Phillips? I don't think it would work. I'm not trading players in draft, but I wouldn't be against acquiring players in draft. I don't think the 3 would be enough, though. The 2 might have been close. I'd be okay with this. Yeah. It would take a future 2 or a 1. Just too much. I'm not adding Lindsey. Again, I'm not trading players mid-draft. Maybe afterwards we can work out a deal for Phillips. Maybe. I'm moving up probably for Silvers. That's what I'm most interested in right here, getting a really good route runner to develop. I don't think he'd be counted upon a ton in year 1, being he's a late third talent, but there's no denying the route running abilities he has, so I'm very interested. But we may have to look at moving up. There are a couple receivers, not many though, that could go earlier. Kevin Doolittle. Moving up might be tough. He goes the very next pick. 67 overall. Thanks, Minnesota. That's a lot earlier than I expected. Yeah. What can you do? That's the way Blackjack made this class for those tough decisions. Kevin Doolittle. Catching, medium route running, and deep route running. He might not be a bad option, but he might go the next pick. He's a late 2. There's still Darnell Livingston, though, and he's not very fast, but I'm still somewhat interested. Every decision is so tough because of what Blackjack did with this class. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, why don't we go back to the draft board? 3, 4, 6, 7, we have no 5. So I think we should have some interest here in Rakeem Boone. I know he's overrated, and typically you wouldn't want to draft a red diamond player. He's actually way overrated. But late 4th round talent with a few standout traits at this stage might be a decent 3rd round pick. Livingston's better, though, in terms of talent. 4.57. Boone ran 4.5 flat. I'm trying to decide right now if it's worth it at all to move up. Maybe I could consider Justin Payne. I don't know how good his route running is, but he is a slot archetype, so I have to assume it's decent. What about Kevin Doolittle? He does have some good route running. Late 2 talent. Seeing some Slater callouts. Where is Slater? Wasn't he a corner? Defensive back? Nope. Mike Slater. Okay, at center. Late 2 talent. Wouldn't be a bad player. Thank you for the super chat, Gio. I think at any rate, I don't want to trade up. I think with our 4th round pick, or even the 6th, we could look at Antoine Bayless. It's all about, do I package the 3 and 4 right now? Is there a player to package up for? Stay put. Yeah, I have some players I'd be willing to draft, so we'll see. Tim Hardy to the Raiders. Chris Kerr at tight end. Jason Armstead, a 71 overall tight end. Kevin Doolittle off the board. Okay, he goes to Philly. Malik Spears. Aiden Spithill. I have to change his name actually to Chase Spithill. Blackjack told me that. Got the brothers mixed up. Tight ends are going. Mike Slater goes there. 68 overall. The reason I didn't trade up for him is because he wasn't going to be an improvement over Marvin Walsh. That was the whole thing. If you go O-line in Madden, my philosophy is it's got to be early. But in this case, Walsh, I think I drafted him as a 78, and he got to develop for a full year. He's actually a 69. But I think he's as good of an option as is available in the draft right now. So, that's the whole reasoning there. Tyrone Carroll. Tate Meyer. John Sheehan. I'm just checking the XFL score. I haven't seen an update from y'all in a little bit. I'm going to change up the song too. 31-19, 2 minutes to go. So probably no overtime in that one. Just wait and go BPA. Might be the move. Eddie Vaughn. It is the round of the tight ends. Rakeem Boone is off the board. There are so many receivers in this overall tier. I think you could consider any of them, honestly. Depending on what couple of traits you value most. Darnell Livingston, 68 to the Bears. All right, we're on the clock here. We could go Justin Payne if I wanted to address receiver that bad. Here are the receivers that are still available. Not a ton of players here on the board. So I've taken a defensive tackle, a safety, and a halfback. I do need a slot receiver. I was hoping to get Emmanuel Silvers. That didn't work out. If we want to go BPA, it looks like the best player available would be Walt Peterson, who's probably like a 65 overall tackle. Not any better. Yeah, there's always the possibility of development. It's just hard to predict. But we're already running low on options here in the draft, and we are in the 3rd round. Sherman's another good route runner. He's a 6th round talent. I'd have some interest later on, but what to do here? It's probably either Peterson or Payne. I want to check out my receivers one more time. These are all the receivers I have right now. We have some pretty good speed on the roster now. Catching, we could be doing better. Catching traffic. Hakeem Butler made that a little bit better. But I think where we really lack right now is that route running. Only one player in the 80s for short. One player in the 80s for medium. And a few good deep guys. Deion Price, Samuel, Valdez-Scantling. So I'm not looking for a guy to go deep. I'm looking for someone to go across the middle and show they can be maybe a slot receiver or a chain mover. Need good hands and good route running here. And we just don't know the route runnings for Justin Payne. They could be Bs. He could have a tight rating spread, and it's just not showing up. We could also look at maybe trading for Centarius Phillips, yes. I think that'd be an interesting decision to go with. Does Phillips fill that void, though, that we're looking at? I mean, his short and medium are better than his deep, but they're still not great. He's entering his 3rd year. I want to see where they have him listed on the depth chart right now. Fourth. Manually trade down, Hungry Gamer. Trade Lindsey for Phillips. I don't like trading players during the draft to trade up to high picks. This isn't that kind of a situation. This would be for a 4th receiver that hasn't gotten playing time. If they would do it for Lindsey in a 3, I would make the move. That would give them a good backfield, and they don't have a good quarterback, so they need some good running backs. If they make the move, I'm okay with it. There it is. I think that's fair. Maybe you say straight up Lindsey for Phillips. That's a lot more fair. Phillips, keep in mind, what kind of trade value would he have here? 2 years, hasn't played a lot. Lindsey's been hurt a lot. It's a late 3. I think it's a decent trade. And now we get a receiver for a couple years at least that has a lot of ability. Plus, after this offseason, we can decide on the 5th-year option. So, welcome Centarius Phillips. After all that, Philip Lindsey has been dealt. Justin Payne is going to Jesse Heikkinen with Miami. Yes, and receiver is more valuable than running back, without a doubt. And also, Phillips had more time on his deal. So, I think that's the best way to do it. Oh, Maurice Collins. I didn't realize that Blackjack had him listed as Mo Collins on here. And Chubby Decker goes to the Colts. We'll be checking ratings afterwards, don't worry. Chris Baker to Seattle. We'll have a lot of ratings to check out, actually. Sylvester Redgrave IV. That's how I know it's a Blackjack draft class. Especially for a player that's not even like high profile. He'll edit everybody. Came with a lot of W's this offseason. No one I'd rather spend $30 in Super Chats on. Keep up the great content. Thank you, Gio. Much appreciated. I appreciate all of your Super Chats and all the support. It's been a fun stream. It's been a weird one to kind of dynamically think about because there's just been so many decisions to make regarding so many players. But I like where this offseason is ending up. All right, everybody. We don't pick again until the 6th round, so anybody in the 4 through 5 range is a possibility here. I do have interest in Leo Thorne. I think the pick here is going to be Antoine Bayless. He might go before our 6th round pick. Hard to say. He's a 4th round talent. Antoine Bayless is a 66 overall cornerback. It's a good value here. He already took Will Park's number. Needs a lot of development, though. But now we don't pick for a while. I'm not sure if there's a quarterback I would spend a pick on in this class. I want to sign somebody, but my one thing is they have to have a cannon for an arm. Because I have Leighton, I have Brooks, I want a different style quarterback. Noah Manuwai, 68, not bad here this late. Wow. Good pick. I don't think I'm considering Knightley because we have a lot of receiver competition already now. I did not think, though, that in this offseason we would end up with Centarius Phillips. Don't you try to ignore Phillips like you did Sutton in-game. Yeah, from game to game, I mean, Sutton would either ball out or disappear. So we basically are replacing Sutton with Centarius Phillips, who is pretty similar to Sutton at the beginning of the series. Although I think that Phillips is more dynamic, speedier. But as far as route runnings and catching ratings go, I think those are pretty similar. Leo Thorne. I had interest in him. Coverage linebacker. Antoine Knightley is going to the Browns. So he was 7th round projected, 5th round talent. He goes early 6. That's why I took the corner early. He had the talent. Yeah, Knightley is their Phillips replacement, it looks like. If he was 3rd on the depth chart, I don't think I would have made the deal, because then I could justify, like, oh, he is going to play this year. But if he was still listed as 4th in year 3, like, it's time to move on. Thomas Roberts, another Kalispell player I didn't even realize was in the class. Two picks left. That's the board. What are we thinking here, everybody? No more running backs? Could pick up a pick next season. A 4 would be nice. I limit how often I'll trade out just because you can kind of game the system there. I'll do it one time, usually in off season. Yeah, we'll trade out there. Let's go slowly again, just to see if there's someone else we recognize. Highest combine O-lineman. Could look at that. I mean, a lot of classes end up having like a 67, 68 overall caliber player there that goes undrafted, so maybe. Not every class, but we'll see. Very close to our last pick. All right, let's go look at some high combine O-linemen. I like that idea. The highest at left tackle is a 5.6. At left guard, a 5.6. At center, 5.5, they're out. 5.7 at right guard. And at right tackle, 5.8. All right, the pick is going to be Dexter Wheeler. He might be like a 40 overall. He is a 65. All right, that works for me. A backup lineman. That's a W. That is a lucky W right there. Who's Mr. Irrelevant? It is... Oh, yeah. Oh, to Minnesota, too. It's not a coincidence. All right, everybody. That is the draft. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Boogie Turner, Donovan Jennings, Xavier Watts, Antoine Bayless, Dexter Wheeler, and Centarius Phillips through a trade with the Browns. I'm a really big fan of getting Boogie Turner. I think that was the best way to make an impact early with how fast those receivers went. It is hot in my office, by the way. 1 second. Yeah, Antoine Knightley got drafted in the 6th by Cleveland. So we're not going to quite end the stream yet. We got a few more things to do. There's still some fun to be had. I'm assuming the Defenders won by multiple scores, by the way. And the next game should be underway. Yep, Houston's already up. All right. That's important for fantasy purposes. Did Philip Walker throw it, or did they run it in with... who's their back? Is it... who is Houston's back? He's ahead of Donnell Pumphrey on the depth chart, I'm pretty sure. It's, well, I have it written down somewhere over here. Forget his name. Walker, 50-yard bomb. Was it to Coates? Was it Sammy Coates? Or was it, no, it's not Wadley. Cam Phillips? Oh, I didn't play a lot of him. He's our number 3. I played a lot of Khalil Lewis, I think. Pumphrey's on DC? Okay, then I'm messed up with my depth charts here. Who's the Houston running back? Is it? It's not Andre Williams, is it? Anyway, Rafa Augustine went number 1. Pretty special skills here. Hidden dev. You are sick if you are doing XFL fantasy. Oh, yeah. It's Andre Williams. All right. Played a lot of Philip Walker today, just saying. But not enough Cam Phillips. I got some. Byron Bawden. The team they're playing, I think, is supposed to be trash, by the way. Is it St. Louis? St. Louis is not supposed to be very good. Oh, they're playing LA. But LA, are they playing the 3rd-string quarterback? So Jamie Sherman goes to the Chargers. Not bad. Would have been a good addition, but I'm pretty happy getting Centarius Phillips here. Dallas Levine then goes to the Rams, and he's hidden. Hidden dev, 83 short. So it's a good replacement a couple years down the line from when they lost Cooper Kupp in this series. We'll get the chubby Decker, don't worry. That means the Colts drafted 2 running backs. And they're both power backs. Jayshawn Warfield, 91 speed. Ooh, these are some good ratings. 70 catching. Wow. I'm guessing that Blackjack was thinking along the lines of Le'Veon Bell with this player, if he did some customization here. Shea Holloway. 92 speed. Oh, man. Love those ratings. Hidden dev. Jaquan Tate. Carl Grant. How good are the quarterbacks? I think we really want to know that. Oh, yeah. Cliff McKeon. I could have taken him. Hidden dev. He's going to need some time, though. Carl Joyce was a 74. That's right. That's shocked me. He was that high. Normal dev, though. Pretty good route runnings. I don't think that he would have been a bad pick at all. The ratings seem pretty similar to Centarius Phillips. But Phillips has the development and an edge in overall regardless. But yeah, Joyce has really nice skill set here. But Brandon Warren goes to Minnesota. It looks like he's their day 1 starter. Hidden development. Brandon Warren, welcome to the NFL. 92 throw power. The accuracies are going to need some work. What do you think he made his speed? I got to think faster than Leighton. I got to think like an 89. 91! He did it! He did it! How about that? Brandon Warren. Change their playbook? Maybe. By the way, Scooby is not going to be a starter. The Steelers ended up with Tony McAdams. Looks like he's going to start. Elite short accuracy. Beyond that, who knows? Oh yeah, I had interest in Rakeem Boone. Hidden dev, and everyone talked me out of it. 90 speed, so the route running is just too raw. Speaking of route running, the Vikings ended up taking Emmanuel Silvers, and he had the best route running in the whole class that I scouted. What? Oh, man. There's no player that EA generates that ends up being like this. How can I prepare for that? Amazing route running, but he can't really catch in traffic or get off the line. I have no clue if he's going to be any good because these ratings are all over the place. But if I saw these ratings, I would have wanted to take him to play in the slot. Just get open. Catch it. His release is trash. So is his catch in traffic. But he has the best route running at every level. He would have better route running at every level than anybody on our roster. Man. I knew there had to be something fishy with his ratings. Future fourth for Emmanuel Silvers. Oh, man. Who was the fastest player in the class? Rafa Augustine and Allen Johnson. There were a lot of receivers in that overall tier. It was very difficult to separate them. Did anybody else have over like 80 short? Levine did. Tim Smith. Who is Tim Smith? 80 short route running from Weber State. 5'8", 196. Good short route running. That's it. How about medium route running? Tim Smith, though. Oh, man. Silvers, Livingston, Heenan. So I had a lot of interest in Livingston, but I was a little nervous about some of his ratings. Did he have the slow 40? Because 88 with 93 acceleration is plenty. He would have been a really nice addition. What about Cole Kendrick? Yeah. Not bad. I mean, I ended up with Centarius Phillips. I'm not mad. It was just deciphering this draft class in real time was impossible. You made Carl Joyce much better than I expected to. So everybody wanted me to go Messier at safety. Where did he end up going? He had extremely high tackle and hit power, and he was 20 pounds heavier than most safeties. So Messier went here. 71 normal. 87 speed. 84 tackle, 89 hit power. His coverage is atrocious. The first thing you'd do is move him to linebacker, and that's it. And when I look at their roster, I'm going through everybody's rosters, and if it would make sense, like if he doesn't have a chance to really play at safety, if he's buried on the depth chart, I'll move him to linebacker for them. I started doing that last year. Oh, Belafonte. Very speedy. Good hands. When we didn't have the pick to get Boogie Turner, I was thinking about taking Tyrone Bradshaw with our only first-round pick, which would have been at 24. Scooby Blaylock, hidden dev. So he was supposed to be a starter. Okay. He was supposed to go somewhere and get a chance. Might not happen now. Not bad ratings here for Tim Hardy. Was there anybody else in particular to look at here? Oh, yeah, that low strength for Slater and the low pass block. Yeah, Walsh is better, without a doubt. Antoine Knightley. Oh, yeah, Townsend. I think he went to the Chargers. Knightley, 63 overall. Decent hands and catching traffic, but the route running is low, and the speed is as well. Oh, yeah, we have to see Chubby at running back. Chubby Decker, 66 overall, normal dev. 89 speed, 80 break tackle. Do we play the Colts in the preseason or anything? I had a lot of interest in Mario Townsend. I wasn't sure what Blackjack was going to do with his skill set. So, he's got a foundation for everything but coverage, really. Even his zone coverage is okay off the bat for a pass rusher. I just wasn't sure on Townsend, and I didn't think he was the right pick for our spot. But yeah, definitely solid. The Chiefs, Kyrie Constantine. Decent, pretty good. I never checked out Justin Payne. That was a long debate. 66 normal. He goes to play with Jesse Heikkinen. Yeah, the route runnings, they weren't in the top 3, so I just wasn't sure, but that's kind of what I thought would happen. But again, we get Centarius Phillips. So, very excited to see how that goes. Mo Collins. Yeah, who took Mo? I'm just going through like every team here to look for names. I have no clue where he went. Panthers took 3 receivers in this draft. The Rams took Mo? Yep, I overlooked it here. 63 hidden. 20 years old. Yeah, he left earlier than we expected in that series, so now he's going to LA. Might take some time. We'll see how it goes. Ravens got Noah Manuwai. Okay, normal dev on him. 94 strength. Very interesting. Oh, and Mr. Irrelevant. Everybody wanted to know. The last player selected was Wyatt Carter. 54 overall center from Wyoming. So there you go. How could a 71 overall quarterback be a starter? I think he'd be a future starter, like sit for 1 year and then start, but he didn't end up in the right situation for that. All right, everybody, to preseason. How are all the Kalispell classes put together? Yeah, it's all chronological, so whoever went out in that specific year, you know, Blackjack's taking a look at that and then making it all fit. And then re-ranking the draft board how he wants it, and I let him just do whatever he wants to do. I don't want a ton of input on it, honestly. We get the Colts late. Okay. They ran all over us last game, and now they drafted 2 running backs. Trent Williams was hurt? When did that happen? So here we go, everybody. Centarius Phillips added to the team. We'll see what kind of an impact we get from him. I have not decided numbers or anything. Donovan Jennings. Traded for Hakeem Butler. So a lot of competition here in the preseason for snaps then. I didn't think we'd quite go this route for a wide receiver, but I just brought in a bunch of players I liked, and we'll figure it out. I'm not trying to bury Price. I think he'll still play a lot. Yep, I do want to sign a quarterback. Check free agency before you play preseason. I will. Thank you for the super chat. Xavier Watts. We get Damon Harrison and Boogie Turner. This defense is going to be really fun this season. Let's go to free agency. Like I said, I wanted to add like the quarterback who has the strongest arm. Phillip Rivers could be the backup this year. Adam Kane is available, but obviously 2 years here, they didn't go too well. If the XFL gets a video game, can we get a Roscoe Sheridan career? Let's see the game get announced first. Kane has 90 throw power. I want more from my third string quarterback. But maybe adding Phillip Rivers here wouldn't be a bad idea. We have a little bit of cap space. Let's also add someone with a lot of throw power. Is there someone available? Nope, no more than 90. So I'd have to trade, unfortunately. So it might just be these 3 quarterbacks then we go to training camp with. Preseason. Do we bring in Jalen Samuels? Not against it. But I have to get snaps for Peppers and Jennings. So am I going to get enough of a look at Samuels? Now, for offensive line, our lowest starter is a 70 overall, and it looks like Marvin Walsh is indeed going to be a starter, which was not what I expected. Ooh, Vic Beasley. I would not mind giving him a shot here. Devin McCourty's available. All right, why don't we go to practice squad eligible players then. Trey Betts, one of the top players available, 68 overall. Why not? I think you should go all in this season, be bold and make some moves, trade some picks. If we showed enough promise early on, I'm always willing to give up my first or second round pick when we're like in a Super Bowl window, but I have to be convinced of that. Ooh. Arsenio Choice. Let's go to these wide receivers quick. You know, I'm still interested in the best route runners available. I think Choice or Gallery. Oh, Choice has much better hands. Let's bring in Arsenio Choice then from Mount Union, Division 3. Who went to Mount Union, everybody? What solid NFL wideout in the last decade? Mount Union. Isn't it the Purple Raiders? The answer to the question. Oh, a couple of you know. Pierre Garçon, who had a very good career. I think Cecil Shorts did go there. I guess that's a bonus answer. That sounds right. Yeah, he did go to Mount Union. If you don't give Leighton a solid O-line, I don't think he'll be able to prove to you this team can go all the way. I think after I see how preseason plays out, I would look at maybe a move for an O-lineman. I'm willing to give up any picks. That's fine. That's fine. But we'll just be patient. Gannon, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Looking for good athletic players at a variety of positions. Clinton Harris, 76 speed. Yeah. Running out of cap space. I don't know if I've ever needed a preseason more than this one, though, to like see how things are going to go. It's going to be an interesting year. We go all in on Leighton by not having Rosen there just in case things go wrong. That kind of was my plan for a while, but then I thought about it like, do I care about having Rosen as insurance or do I care about a first-round pick? And I was able to get a first-round pick in exchange for Rosen and a 5, and it looks like he'll be starting for the Detroit Lions. But we do sign Phillip Rivers, so it's not as bad of a drop-off for our backup quarterback spot. And if I had to, I'd probably make a trade for somebody that's decent. And it wouldn't take a first-round pick to do it. Oh, there was a round 7 grade, I think, on Clint Charleston. Anybody interesting at quarterback then? We didn't see anybody with elite throw power, but there is Dustin Payment. We could use a practice squad quarterback. I think Payment would be a decent option for that. Weak arm. Let's sign Dustin Payment. Why not? For old time's sake. Give me an LAX if you remember Lance Adams, Kane. Oh, man. LAX. I loved Lance Adams. I just wish that I could have had him in a different game. Hey, Terrence McKinley's still available. Probably have too many receivers here to even give snaps to somebody else. How about kicker? Not as good as McManus. Okay. That's all I'll probably do for now. Why don't we go to the practice field, though, a little bit. Mess around there. Can you choose your playbook for this? Oh, thank you. It's now Denver v7. Yeah, I could have edited that defensive depth chart. Hopefully it plays Boogie, but we'll see him in the preseason. We know that. If you haven't already done so, please leave a like. I will be ending the stream somewhat soon, but we're going to get a look at some players now in practice, and then that's going to do it for today, everybody. So I've already done some editing to the playbook, expecting that I would make Taquan Leighton the starter. But I haven't actually practiced with him, because I wasn't in a practice week with my my franchise. So, we also want to see Jennings and Phillips out there, so I'm going to edit that. Numbers are not final. We will figure this stuff out as we go. Can I edit the defense? No. So it's a little messed up then. I have to back out, I think, to do it. Or could I change sides and edit their depth chart? No controller select for practice. So with Leighton, obviously we want to get him moving a lot more often. And I'm probably not going to be running as many downfield concepts. Centarius Phillips. They're in a Bronco uniform. I think most of our deep shots are going to start coming off of play action. Ooh. First run felt good. Oh man, double tap, I forgot. So I've already added some more of these strong eye and I form packages because I do think I want to run a little bit more with the fullback than I did last year. But we have to see how good the new fullback is because we no longer have Andy Janovich. He turned us down, I believe, to go to Oakland. And I should experiment to see how much he fumbles here and see what I can get away with. But it's not a lot in this game, it seems. So L1 to pull down. Okay, it does. And gets him running a little bit faster. Is that the case? Because I was always under the impression it was like hold L2 and it just happens. Ooh. It's got some good agility. Yeah, I don't want to have a bunch of fumbles this year with Leighton. What I did go back to look at was, remember back in the Minnesota Dynasty, I had an injury in Season 6 for Andy McKenzie and ended up playing Andrew Johnson as a result. Johnson didn't have very good accuracy, so I had to really game plan around his weaknesses. And in doing so, we had a 20 touchdown, 5 pick season, which is like the best interception numbers I've ever had in a series. So I went back to see exactly how I did it. I don't think that it is quite the, it's not going to be as easy to replicate that, because for one, we had an amazing running game in that series. We had about 900 yards rushing for both Kevin Martindale and Alonzo Holland. And I watched a couple games. Johnson's accuracy was atrocious. So I just really wasn't trying to do much at all. I think Leighton's more talented, so it's not necessarily something I could learn a lot from, sadly. Oh, it is L2. I'm going to experiment with it more. Let's go into a shotgun formation now. Yeah, so this is normal. Whoops. Von Miller's pretty good. And then maybe I should do it offense only to get... Okay. You don't have to hold it. You just press it. He pulls it down. You can bring it back up. The playbook is not shared yet. I'd have to... I'm not on the current patch right now, so I can't upload it right now. But I can go to another console and do it, which is what I've done in the past. You can use juke and spin behind the line there. Yep, I remember hearing about that. It's just I haven't really had a quarterback I wanted to do that with before, but now, with Leighton, it looks like he still doesn't really fully sprint until we pass the line of scrimmage. Jeez. But from what I've seen in the preseason so far and in-game, it does seem that Leighton kind of outplays his ratings a little bit when it comes to accuracy. There was one game late in the year where we had some issues. He was 0 of 3 passing. But most of the time, you could count on his accuracy. And I do take that into account. Like, we know what the number value is, but sometimes players just play a little bit differently. Now, he is going to have his misses, but it's just how often and how costly. I don't think he'll lead the league in completion percentage or anything, but I want to try running a more high percentage offense, and I think we have to throw to our backs a little bit more. You need escape artists to sprint really fast behind the line. Yeah, I don't like some of that important stuff being tied to abilities. I'm obviously not using abilities in this series because it's just really unbalanced for certain positions and certain abilities, like Enforcer, that causes too many forced fumbles. The edge rushers also get a little OP with their abilities, and they end up with way too many sacks. So that's why I've decided to not use them, and I don't think we've missed anything besides that pass. Whoa. I'm not sure if we're really going to have a deep ball game with this offense. We didn't get it going last season. Might be more so we use these players to stretch the field to open up underneath options. Or, if we can get Leighton moving outside the pocket, there might be some chances to improvise. Yep, Leighton is the confirmed starter. We no longer have Josh Rosen. He's been traded once again. There we go. But yeah, I think play action is going to be a big part of it. Obviously, the running game. And then just hopefully having a smart passing game that fits into what Leighton does well. Taking the checkdowns a bit more often. We didn't pass it to our running backs very much last season. I have the numbers here, I think, for pass catching. Maybe that's the one I did not write down. Yeah, but it wasn't much. It was like 2 a game, maybe. And I want that probably to be doubled. Ooh, barely got that one away. Really excited to see what Donovan Jennings can do. But the play of Freeman last year made me more confident in him continuing to have that lead role. And then we'll see what Peppers and Jennings can do. This could be a situation, though, similar to when Alvin Kamara was a rookie. Because he was behind Mark Ingram and Adrian Peterson. And eventually he became the starter. And there was no taking away his chances. So we'll just have to see what happens here. I'm not sure yet if I'll be streaming preseason or if I'm going to be playing it on my own. It depends on how much I do this weekend with it. Lindsey missed, was it 3 games last season? He also played barely any of the playoff games, so really 4 games missed. There might have been some other games that he left in the middle of, but I can't remember exactly. But still, like, he's 28, last year of his deal, and I was ready to move on at that point. Nice catch, Phillips. Ooh. Now, there's a chance that somebody like Marquez Valdez-Scantling could be released. Depends on how preseason goes and who I want the receiver rotation to be. I brought in a couple players because I want to see if we can effectively replace Sutton and Hamilton, and I wasn't sure what I'd do in the draft. So I brought in, more players than I need. And there's a chance that we cut someone like Valdez-Scantling, maybe even Hakeem Butler. It just depends on how the roster comes together and what we need. Yeah, Rafa went number 1 overall. Completely number 1. Let's try Hakeem Butler. And let's also get, where is our guy? Oh, Price is already here. So Darius Jennings doesn't catch the ball well yet. I have to really work on that. His receiving back archetype might be one I work on pretty early on. Yep, I'm playing on Mat 10 sliders. I want to respot. Better protection for once. Oh, come on, Bo. You could have been the hero right there. There you go, Peppers. Yeah, Peppers is going to get more of a chance this year. And of course, Donovan Jennings will probably start as the number 3. But you know I'm going to do a running back by committee style unless somebody can really steal the show. I got some players, though, with different skill sets, which is important. That's airmailed. Three-headed monster like Dallas in 08. Who was it then? It had to have been Felix Jones. Had to have been... Oh, man. Marion Barber, Felix Jones. But the number 3 guy... I don't even know. Tashard Choice. Oh, my God. Tashard Choice. Yes. Whenever I have a conversation with Blackjack and we go down the rabbit hole of like old football and things we have a vague memory of, we always end up Googling like the Tashard Choices of the world. And then in a few years, we'll do it for like Jonas Gray or something. He had the big like 200 and whatever yard day. I think he was out of bounds. Some of these throws are a little off the mark, but he'll develop as we move on. And with Superstar Dev, he should still be advancing pretty quickly. Hopefully we can get one before the season starts. I'll probably be boosting Field General until we get his short accuracy